Okay. So there's no real specific topic that we're going over today. Just kind of wanted to talk about the places we've been recently, where we're going to in the very near future. And because the last live we did a couple of days ago, I didn't have the full FAQ printed out, so I didn't get a chance to go over some of that. So I will be looking back through that and answering any questions you guys have. So I guess to start off with, where have we been lately?
Well, for this segment, we start off in LA, and
So what did we do in LA?
we resupplied.
Resupplied. We got snacks.
Yeah.
And met up with a friend of mine. Got caught up. I hadn't seen him in a couple of years, so that was kind of nice. And he brought some banking documents for me. So
and he was bearing gifts. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring the gifts back on ship.
Right. No knives.
No knives.
He did. Oh, he got us
little plier, Leatherman type thing, that little multi-tool, which was neat. It was a small one, but still it has a blade in there, and I don't think they're too keen on wrenches either. So
right. Hello, Kelly from Boston. And yes, we did get Girl Scout cookies. Those we could keep and brought those back.
Yes, and we have not eaten them all.
Right, and then several sea days before we made it to Hawaii.
Yep. Five sea days.
I know. Hawaii was amazing.
Yes. That
first
Hawaii.
Time sorry, go ahead.
Hawaii was like a 2-day vacation.
From the vacation we're on.
From the cruise, yeah. Because this there again, Anthony Antoine and I were talking, and he said we were talking, made the comment that it was more like a vacation being on Hawaii for the 2 days as opposed to being on the ship, which now is the everyday thing for us.
Right, because now the ship is our daily life.
Yes, so. It is home. I can see my home from there.
So what are the stuff we did in Kona? So
Kona, love Kona.
Is that where we did the movie tour? That is, right?
No.
Okay,
no,
where
that
was that?
That was on Oahu.
That was Oahu. Sorry.
Oahu. Kona. We just walked the street right off the port.
Oh, that's right.
And there's a lot of things right there. Yeah, a lot of things right there, and it was really neat. Really, I like the vibe of Kona. Prior to that, we stopped at Hilo, which was on the east side of the island, and that was kind of neat. We walked down to that Japanese garden.
Oh yeah.
And found a little roadside cafe. What?
No, I'm just moving my hair.
Oh, I thought you were looking for the microphone. I got the microphone. So Hilo was nice. We didn't venture too far away, but it's part of the Big Island. Wish we could have gotten over to the lava flows and seen where all that was. Although we did get to see where we stepped out onto rocks that were going into the water, and there were old lava flows from years and years ago. So it was neat.
Hi, Suscos. Well, we sort of live on the ship. It's a 9-month world cruise, so that's long enough to consider it home for a while, at least.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about Oahu then, because we did a garden there, right?
Yep.
And that was the thing we did first off. And then we went to, again, the other side of the island to do what was the name of that place?
I cannot remember it offhand. Of course, it's all in my phone, but
Anyway, it's where they did a lot of filming for Jurassic Park and
a bunch of other movies too.
One of the was it a King Kong or a Godzilla movie?
I think it was King Kong.
Yeah.
Kong. I think Kong. That one was Kong. So it was all neat. The terrain was just beautiful. We had been to Oahu before and got to drive around, so it was still just amazing scenery.
Definitely worth the trip.
Yeah. But I definitely want to go back to the Big Island, because that's where they make the 100% Kona coffee.
Oh yes,
delicious.
Nectar
of the gods.
That was a key thing that we had to do in Kona, was to get the 100% Kona coffee.
I got a bag of 100% coffee. I'm taking it home.
So then we went to French Polynesia. We had 2 stops there. The first one, Maria.
Beautiful.
Oh my goodness, so absolutely incredible.
Beautiful. We went with with Brandy and
Shannon, and their the
and
Lake
their
family.
Yeah, family.
The whole
Anthony
Lake
was with
family.
us. Yeah, it was a fun trip. We went to a little cooking thing.
A cooking lab, and we
Yeah.
made like breadfruit about 5 different ways,
Yep.
and
Breadfruit
tuna dish. It was
chips.
really awesome, and because it was quite a bit out from the port facility, we literally got a tour of like at least
about a quarter of the island.
Yeah, a quarter of the island.
Maybe.
And then on the way back, the taxi that was part of our included transportation stopped at several locations so we could get some photos in different areas of the island. So it was really nice.
Yep.
And that is definitely on the list to go back and see again.
Yes. The thing that impressed me most about French Polynesia, both islands, was the cleanliness of the areas. There wasn't trash laying on the roads or in the ports or anything like that. It was just a very beautiful island, both of them, of course. The second one we stopped on was Tahiti, and the port name was Papeete. So it was all neat, very beautiful.
So I'm going to answer a couple of questions. The port we're most looking forward to in Africa. So I got to say, I think that's going to be South Africa. I think Port Elizabeth, because that is where we have been informed we might be able to see
penguins.
And is it hard to be away from your family for so long? I'll let you answer that one.
Yes and no. We've both of us have worked overseas, distant locations. I was 19 when I joined the Army, so I was gone from home at that point. So, but we talked to my mom about at least once a week, if not more. So.
And in effect, they get to see us almost every day because we're posting almost every day.
Yep. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
And family, friends back
Yes.
home.
Maria, hands down, one of the favorite places you've ever been. So glad we loved it. Yes, it was absolutely amazing. And everybody's heard of Tahiti.
Yeah.
And not that isn't nice too,
Bora Bora.
but yeah. But Moria is definitely where we're going to go back to.
Yeah.
Most of the people that we know did some kind of a snorkeling trip, and I kind of. I mean, not that the cooking thing was fun, but if and when we go back, snorkeling is the thing we're going to do after all kinds of.
Jean Moray is hands down my favorite place I've ever been. Oh, sorry. I saw the scroll going on. I thought, oh, hey, that's something new.
No. So yeah, we did not get to see penguins, or just very briefly.
And yeah, Jean, time to snorkel with the humpback
whales. Exactly.
Yes. One of our friends
got to do that.
Got video. Yes, they were swimming along, and someone kept pointing down, so he turned his camera down. And sure enough, there were two whales down below him.
Just incredible. And then Papeete. We didn't go far from the port area for that one too, but again, very beautiful, very clean, very great food. We're making a habit of getting food off the ship.
Yes.
when we
that helps.
Hit ports.
That helps.
And just had a kind of a nice day there.
Very nice.
I will say something, because I don't know if this is because it's so close to the equator. I've heard other people say that, but the intensity of the sun in both of those locations was really. I mean, I felt it even more so than Hawaii.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not that it's warmer, just more intense.
And it's not that it's real close to the equator. I can't remember what the latitude was, but yeah, and obviously we're going south again, so we're into the summer for the southern hemisphere again. So it's supposed to be really hot in Australia when we get there.
Yes, I've heard.
We've heard mentioned by others.
Yeah, much more than 100 degrees Fahrenheit from what we've heard. So.
No, we both experienced it. So.
Yeah. Okay, so where are we going next?
We are on our way to New Zealand.
Yes, Auckland first.
Auckland, New Zealand first.
And then the Bay of Islands. And originally we were going to meet up with a friend of mine there, but that has had to be canceled for personal reasons, stuff they have going on. So we don't have any excursions currently planned. We were going through the list this morning to see what was still available, and there's a Hobbiton tour that is completely booked up, and I'm really upset about that. So I haven't booked anything because I'm kind of hoping somebody cancels that and I can go. But we'll see.
And some other friends of ours have talked about they're going skydiving.
Really?
Yeah.
Who is that? Who's going skydiving?
Christian and Jenny.
Okay.
Anthony's going to do it, I think.
Oh, okay. So maybe we can send that.
It's about, from what they said, about $400.
That's not bad.
Somewhere in there. It's not bad for
skydiving.
skydiving, but yeah, it's.
You don't want to jump out of an
Oh,
airplane?
I don't know. I'm an old paratrooper, so love jumping out of airplanes.
Becky says to snorkel in the Philippines and the China Sea by Batangas. So amazing. That'll be on the list, Becky. And then Diane, what is your next cruise after this? So we don't get off this cruise until September of this year.
Yeah.
So we have not planned anything in particular, but we are talking about doing the Panama cruise with Steve's mom.
Yeah, I'd love to do the Panama cruise.
So I don't know when we're going to do that, but that'll probably be the next one we do.
Yep. And of course, with the itinerary change, we still want to get back to the Eastern Med. So, see the the Greek islands we're going to miss, Turkey, and, of course, hopefully things settle down over there and everything gets resolved.
Yes, that is the hope.
So,
I don't know. Yeah, it'll probably be a while before that happens. So after that, Australia. So Sydney and Newcastle are the first two locations there.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have excursions booked there. One of them, I want to say Newcastle, Port Stanley on your own, and then I can't remember what the one in Sydney is. But a tour essentially of the city.
And
Brisbane.
Tina, are you living on cruise? Well, we are right now. This is from start to finish, it's a 9-month cruise. So we're living here now, and just kind of sailing around the world, which it's fantastic. We had seen the articles of people doing that when they retire.
Mm-hmm. I really want to do that too.
At least maybe for a little while, and but there's still a lot of other places we want to see while we can still get up and go.
Yep.
So that's part of it. But yeah, we are living on the cruise now.
So Brisbane is the next one after Newcastle, and we don't have anything official planned for Brisbane, but my understanding from Tam is that Christian Hull may be sponsoring a sausage sizzle that we're going to be attending. I'm not sure if that's finalized yet, but I'm looking forward to meeting him on land before he joins the ship. Yeah. He's going to be on the same floor as we are, so we imagine we will be, and plus he'll be invited to all the content creator events anyway. So I imagine we'll get to seeing a lot of him. So we're looking forward to that.
Yep.
And Brisbane is essentially the end of this mini sailing.
This individual cruise.
Yeah.
And for those of you who aren't realize what it is, the whole 9-month cruise was broken down into 17 individual sailings,
and also
all
4
one-ways.
segments.
Yeah. But the individual sailings are one way from one port to the next port. It doesn't loop back to where it started on that individual sailing.
Right.
Because this individual sailing started in L.A., we're not going back to L.A. So.
No. Okay, so that's kind of it for where we've been and where we're going. I did want to take a few minutes to go through the entire FAQ for the itinerary change. So for those of you who don't know, we're originally supposed to go through the Suez Canal and the Red Sea, which is kind of off limits at this point to passenger traffic. And maybe all commercial traffic. I'm not sure.
Well, the companies have decided not to traverse it.
So we had an itinerary change. Royal Caribbean let us vote on it. It was either fast track around Africa or take the scenic route, making many stops along the way. And the decision was made we voted, and the decision came out on February 27th. And we are, in fact, doing the scenic slow route around Africa.
Yep.
So,
well, it's about the same amount of time, but we're
it is the same amount of time.
Pretty much, yeah.
We catch up with our original itinerary in Italy. Let's see, if you have time, I recommend visiting Black Butt Reserve in Newcastle. It's not too far from the port and has lots of Australian animals. Thank you for the heads up.
Yes, thank you very much.
Let me
make a note.
I have my notebook and a pencil here, so I'm going to write that down. Thank you.
Thanks, BB.
Newcastle. Okay, so I went over the vaccination and medical and all the visas, but just to kind of quickly go over those again, Royal Caribbean is going to be taking care of the, well, we are still responsible for getting them, but Royal Caribbean is covering the expense for any new visas that are required, as well as the one vaccination that is required is yellow fever, and they're going to make that available on the ship at no cost
Well,
for everybody who doesn't have it already. And then for those of us who already got the yellow fever vaccine, we can provide receipts and be reimbursed up to $250 for that vaccine.
Yep.
So kind of continuing with the medical, one of the FAQs is, will medication be available on board for yellow fever and malaria? I just covered the yellow fever, but yes, they will also have prophylaxis for malaria. And will we be able to receive malaria tablets on board? Yes, they will have those available for us. Because we chose option one, the those of us who are on the full cruise, or on the segment 3, even if it was just the segment 3 section, we are getting a 25% discount on the cruise fare paid
on that segment
for the number of days that were affected. So the question is, how is that compensation calculated? And it says guests can multiply their days impacted by cruise fare paid per day by 25, and that's the amount we should see for the compensation.
And also the return of, they're canceling itineraries that was booked through the ship. Day excursions, I'm sorry, that were booked through Royal Caribbean. So that's one. There's a couple of good things about booking the company tours as to opposed to going out on your own and trying to get one third party. On the ship, if something happens like this, the itinerary change, they will reimburse your money
to the original form of payment.
Yeah. And also the whole thing about if the tour is running late for whatever reasons, getting back to the ship before sailing.
Way more likely to wait for you.
Yeah, they will wait. Or they're going to provide you transportation to the next stop to get back on.
Right.
It's a whole lot of things, because sometimes you don't have your passport.
So for the entire segment 3 section, we had a lot of excursions booked. And so for the last 2 days, I have been getting nonstop emails, canceled, and information about the credit. So,
well, and also the whole thing about that third segment, once we got into the Mediterranean, that's, you're on a Mediterranean cruise, so all the stops there, it's almost every day we were at a
it was very
stop.
busy.
And so we, Turkey, we're going to be in the Greek islands, all over that Eastern Med, and we loaded it up. So
is Rome still on the itinerary? Yes.
Rome
still is. So we're just getting there through a different route.
Yeah. Once we get back into the Med and hit the Greek island that we're going to, I can't think which one. Corfu. That ties us back into the original itinerary. And so we'll finish that up, and I think it finishes in Barcelona for that.
That's right here.
Going to go all the way.
So actually,
Ravenna.
Technically, Ravenna, Italy, is where we catch up with the original itinerary.
Yeah.
According to this, it's not Corfu, but
it's just a couple of days in there, because we've got Bari, Italy, and then Ravenna.
Yep.
2 days in Ravenna.
Yep. Okay. 2 days.
So yeah, once we hit onto that, that's when it ties back into the original itinerary, and I think it finishes in Barcelona, right?
Yes.
For the the third segment, and then we go around.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, around.
Barcelona is the start of segment 4.
Yeah.
End of segment 3 and beginning of segment 4. So let's see. The next FAQ is, if my preference was Africa and Greece itinerary, will I still receive compensation based on my selection, or will it be based on the final itinerary, Immersive Africa? So compensation will be provided based on the final itinerary. All guests that decide to sail will receive 25% off days impacted, multiplied by their cruise fare paid per day. If you prefer to cancel and not join us on the Immersive Africa itinerary, you'll receive a prorated refund for your remaining days left. So there are a few people I know that were considering canceling the whole section and just doing something on their own. I don't know if they're still considering, but I imagine some of them are. So the next one, if we cancel the Africa sailings and return on the next available sailing date, would we be able to return to our original stateroom? For our Ultimate Cruise World Cruise and Segment 3 guests, your original stateroom will remain assigned to you. So you get to keep your clothes and everything there. They do, of
Yep.
course, recommend, I mean, obviously, you need
Valuables.
to, your valuables
Yeah.
and your travel documents to take those with you.
Yep.
Have the impacted ports. So, ooh, it looks like our YouTube is. So guests will receive their refund to the original form of payment for both their cruise fare paid and any pre-cruise purchases made such as Royal Caribbean shore excursions. So, right. So if you've gone through a third party for your shore excursions, then you'll have to deal with them directly for refunds, and or your travel insurance partner. So, what if I'm only interested in a partial option? As an example, sail from Dubai May 9th to Cape Town May 27th, but cancel the second part from May 27th to June 20th. So Royal says that's perfectly fine. Guests can decide to only join us for one sailing instead of both sailings. They'd receive a prorated refund for the days off the ship, and then a refundable onboard credit for the days on board the ship. Prorated refund if we, yeah. So I've kind of answered this. They answered this question like 3 or 4 different times, just in different ways.
Yeah.
All these that have to do with the cancellation. So you get the idea. Prorated on a per day basis for pretty much all of these. They are saying that if you're doing an independent journey, whether you were on one before or are have now decided to do an independent journey, you have to do the form all over again. And hello, Kathy from Manitoba. Thank you for joining us. There was something in here that I really wanted to read word for word because it was so different from what we heard in the webinar.
Oh, yeah. Opening them up.
Right. So, we were advised that we could book our family and friends for the new sailings. Does that mean that they need to remain on board for the full option, or can it only be a portion of it? So this says that yes, guests may sail from May 9th to May 27th and or May 27th to June 20. Partial sailings are not available. So they've broken the new itinerary up into mini sailings. So they have to stay, or they at least have to pay for the full mini sailing. But anything shorter than that, they're not booking. So let me see if I can find that other section that I was talking about. Why don't you talk about what you're looking forward to on the itinerary?
Well, obviously, there's a lot of places we haven't been in Africa. I'm looking forward pretty much to that whole trip around the western coast of Africa.
I've only been to North Africa.
And of course, starting off, we leave Dubai and we end up in the Seychelles for 2 days, 2 different islands. That's going to be beautiful. Everyone's talking about that. Of course, Madagascar, that's always been would be neat to see, you know. So I'm looking forward to that.
Seychelles and Mauritius.
Yeah, there's Mauritius.
Those are dream locations.
Yeah, and even South Africa. You know, we got some friends on the ship that we've met that are from South Africa, and it's going to be neat, you know.
We have not. So, Hamster, to answer your question, we have not jumped ahead in time yet. That is happening tonight.
Tonight we cross the international date line.
And instead of experiencing March 1st, we will experience March 2nd.
Yeah. No March 1st for you. But yeah, I don't know all of them. I'm just looking forward to all these countries that they have on the schedule now, seeing what kind of excursions that come of those, and if there's going to be any. I'm still curious about replacements of, since we're losing Petra and the pyramids, right on the 7. So I'm curious to see what they'll do for those, and then if there's any other ones that come up that are neat.
Right, and so the new excursions won't be available on the website or the app until April. Well, the first week in April. So they're hoping to have those done by like April 7th, 9th.
Yeah.
Hamster says there's an Irish backpacker that just got to Madagascar for the next 2 months. His TikToks look amazing. Oh, I will. If you can think of the name of that, put it down here and we'll check them out.
Cool,
You're going
thanks.
to love Barcelona. Definitely visit Gandhi's church and the huge park. Awesome. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Hamster. So Fleetwood Jack is his name. You might get some ideas from him. He traveled all around Africa before. Thank you for the heads up.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm going to make a note of that one too.
Fleetwood Jack.
Got it.
I'm
Okay,
gonna go out on a limb, say he might be a Fleetwood Mac fan,
Maybe.
or I'm saying
So I found the specific question that I was looking for. So originally during the webinar that we had and all the information leading up to the actual February 7th decision, Royal Caribbean said that they were not opening up the Africa experience to anyone who wasn't already booked in that. However, this is what the FAQ says that we received on February 27th. Who can book the new Africa immersive itinerary that is replacing Serenade of the Seas, May 9th to June 7th, 2024 sailings? The answer is, we are excited to visit Africa and are overwhelmed by guests' interest. We are prioritizing all guests that were originally booked on the impacted Serenade of the Seas, May 9th to June 7, 2024 sailings. If there is still availability after securing staterooms for our current guests, we will offer our Ultimate World Cruisers the opportunity to book their friends and family, their family and friends. Should you be interested in booking this experience with us, please contact our call center and they will share more details on availability and how to book. So I am interpreting that to mean that they are going to open it up if they still have available rooms after, again, the people originally impacted and then friends and family of the World Cruisers.
Yep.
I don't think I'm misreading this, but as always, that is indeed a possibility because I don't know who wrote this, but based on the punctuation and the statements, it doesn't seem that last sentence, starting with should you be interested in booking this experience with us, please contact our call center. It is not linked to being family and friends. So I really think that they are going to open it up if there is still availability after those first two priority requirements are met.
Yep.
So that was, I think that's awesome. And I think it is in fact very different than what they told us to start out with.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
And I forgot, can you grab my iPod for me? Thank
Your
you.
iPad or iPod?
Yes, iPad. I don't have a iPod. iPods aren't a thing anymore. They're your phone.
No. Yeah. Yep.
So, a lot of the questions that we've gotten since this cruise started are about health. How are you exercising? Which I've said this the last 2 lives we've done. We really need to get back into the gym or at least start walking around in circles on one of the decks.
Yeah, me too.
Same with eating healthy and making smart choices. So it's not always easy to eat healthy with what's available. I am really hardcore for them setting up at least one station with just steamed vegetables and things like that. But again, grilled is nice, but even still, there's a lot of salt and a lot of oil on things, which at home we try to limit. So one of the things that I've been thinking about is starting a book club on a book that was a life-changing experience reading for me. And I'm going to hold this up. So the book is Outlive by Dr. Peter Attia. And I can't read that. There's a co-author. And Bill Gifford. Yeah, I already said doctor. Anyway, I read this last year before we went on the cruise. And this was the information that was included in this book was life-changing for me. And it changed a lot about the way I lived. And I believe that it has so much good information in it. I believe I'm gonna start doing a book club on this. So I'd love for anybody to make comments on this as far as, or when we repost, if you're interested in joining in that, so I can get an idea. And I may do that on the Thursday lives, or I may set up a different time for that. but I figure like one chapter a week. They're I showed you the audiobook link. I also have it available on I think I have a Kindle version too. But each of the audiobook chapters on average are about an hour. So sorry, Legs, it was Outlive, and the author is Dr. Peter Attia, and co-author Bill Gifford. It came out early last year, I think. Yeah, probably the first quarter of 2023. I'll go over a couple of the things that are in the book. You know, in addition to, or some of the concepts that are in the book. The four horsemen of the apocalypse, basically. I mean, as a joke, are, you know, the four leading causes of death in human beings. The concept of having a centurion decathlon, so that if you plan on or want to do certain things when you're in your 90s, or, you know, hopefully into your hundreds, there are things that you should, you know, you should be able to do at 40, 50, or 60, to still be able to do those things when you're in your 90s or hundreds. And that is predicated on the fact that, you know, it's just normal that humans tend to lose muscle mass and, you know, lung capacity and all sorts of other things. So if certain things are important to you, he said in his practice, you kind of have to pick 10, but really you can pick as many as you want, of things that you want to do. Like if you want to travel independently and still be able to hold your own luggage, or get up from sitting on the floor without hurting yourself, or picking up your grandkids or your great grandkids from the floor. That stuff is really hard to do when you hit 90. So there are things that you can do in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and on, to get ready for that and make sure that you can still do things, you know, assuming that you don't have any major accidents or whatever.
Major issues.
Things that you can do to improve your, not just cardiovascular fitness, but your muscle fitness and lots of other things. Shelly's asking if they have lots of salads and soups available. They do. Not most of them are not really to my taste. They tend to be cream based.
Yeah.
And I prefer broth based soups, because even though they tend to be saltier, they have less fat in them. And I'm big on vegetable. You know, if it's a soup, I like it to just be straight broth based and vegetables, and that's not often what the choice is.
Yeah.
Even still, good. The salads, they do have a bit. There's always a salad bar available.
Yeah.
But they don't always have things that I like to put in. So like half the time it's just lettuce, because the other stuff that they have to put in the salad is not stuff that I want.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But we do those regularly. They also have in the Rita's Cantina section, they have basically a protein and smoothie bar, which is really nice. We have been making heavy use of that lately.
Yeah, especially at breakfast.
Especially at breakfast.
And the only problem is, you know, a lot of the protein powders use 2 scoops. Well,
yeah, 2 scoops is the serving. They only use one.
Yeah. So it's kind of frustrating there. But they ran out the first time they had them on the first part of the cruise.
Sailing, yeah.
And so I'm sure that's why they only do 1 scoop.
Yeah.
But at least we're getting half that dose of protein. So
right. So if I think, well, they use protein that we use at home.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the same brand. And let me clarify, they ran out of vanilla protein the last time.
Yeah.
They still had chocolate, so it wasn't. They didn't completely run out. But so that one, I think, is that one 33 grams for 2 scoops, or is it more like 28?
It's about 30, somewhere in there, give or take a little bit.
Right, so it's around 30 grams. So even though we're only getting 1 scoop, we're still getting 15 grams of protein for each of the protein shakes.
Yeah.
But if you're not interested in the protein part, they have fruit smoothies, which are, and there's like several different categories. They have a whole menu down there. Yeah. And in fact, next time I go down there, I'll take a picture of it so I can include it in a video so you guys can see. Linny says, my protein is 1 scoop, 25 grams, and I add it to my yogurt in the morning. Yeah, that's cool. A really good. Yeah. So we both used to eat yogurt in the beginning of the sailing, and we kind of got out of the habit of it because as we went down south.
Once, of course, in the U.S., they were able to get the Greek style, which, you know, that's what I really like that. and
Because it has the higher protein anyway.
higher protein in it, but the consistency. So once we went south, they started getting more of the local produce, local dairies and things like that, and it was a lot thinner. Some of
Really
it was
runny.
almost like a basically drink with a straw, like a milkshake. But yeah, and I'll go back and get some every now and then, but it's just not like what we're used to.
Hi, LaShawn. Thanks for joining.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Sky or Greek yogurt all the way. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
our preference
Yeah.
too. We like the thicker stuff. And there wasn't anything wrong with it. It's not what we're used to, and it wasn't very appetizing just because it was so runny. Let's see. What else can I
You can
talk about the
strain
book?
it. Yeah.
You can, yeah, right. What else have we done as far as like health wise lately?
Well, we haven't been in the gym.
No, we haven't been. We are going for walks.
Yeah. Need to do that more though.
And so another one of this is just random thing that they cover in the book, or I think they covered this in the book. But going, or maybe it was so. Dr. Peter Attia also has a podcast, and so I'm kind of this may not be in the book. It may be something that I heard on his podcast instead. But I do remember that this came from him. But there are actual studies that have analyzed how helpful it is to go for walks, particularly right after eating, to manage your blood sugar. And that one of the case studies, there was somebody who was actually diabetic who was managing to control his blood sugar almost completely by walking. Now, he wasn't just walking after meals. He was doing that, but he was also just walking a lot. But if you don't have full-blown diabetes yet, because it just seems like even really healthy people you just get it as you get older, which is crazy. Right. Trying to work out which is the best cruise according to the healthiest cruise to choose, right? I would love if there were more options.
Thanks, Lee.
Push-ups every day and plank can always make time for it. Oh, so I have gotten back into the habit of doing yoga in the morning though. Yeah. So we have a balcony room, which is really nice because the actual square footage in the room is not enough to really move around. Yeah. So I brought my own yoga mat and I take that out onto the balcony and I get to do a yoga workout every morning, which is nice, as long as the weather's good, at least.
And I agree that the push-ups and planks every day. Yeah, I just
and body weight squats.
Yeah, well, my knees kind of hinder me.
Well, you can't do those.
Body weight squats. It's very frustrating. But yeah, the push-ups and planks, I agree. And variations on those help with the core, obviously. Yeah, it is good stuff. I just haven't been doing it.
Right, but we're going to change that this week. We're definitely making that move.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I want to do the book club, because when I share these things with other people, it reminds me that I need to be doing these things for myself. Lee Design Studio, thank you very much. Yeah. I didn't know we had any followers from Las Vegas. I used to live there, so thanks for joining. I have diabetes and now 40K down. Oh, that looks. And now am 40K down and almost all my diabetic meds are gone. I do seated cardio. That's awesome, Shelley. That is amazing. Yes.
And Katie over here, if you talk to the MDR staff,
they will make low carb dishes for you. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's something that we haven't. I'm one of those people, I don't like to inconvenience people, but that's maybe something that we should start doing. Asking for special requests. People with food allergies, people with food sensitivities have been doing that. We know several people on the ship who are doing that. So I do know that they make those special dishes for folks. So we could probably use that service too.
Yeah, but it's usually not too hard to find a protein that's decent for you. Either a chicken dish that they got that's pretty good. Obviously, they do season them everything. Not a whole lot because they don't want to create it too much seasoning for some people.
Spicy is what it means.
Yeah,
they don't put a lot of spice in it.
They don't. But there again, that's to me that's not the problem. Finding decent proteins. The problem is the other stuff that's out there. The breads, the baked goods. Which God, I love bread.
So Leela says she's going on a cruise in April, and has been meaning to start getting more steps in. Definitely, I mean,
Yeah.
every little bit helps, and that's one of the things. The more studies that come out, they just show that you don't have to do a massive amount of exercise to see benefits from it. And Shelley
Yeah.
says that her loss is from gastric bypass, and will be asking for a special diet, right?
Yeah.
Because you will need to, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The vegan protein
Yeah.
options.
They
So
do.
so I'm pretty sure every day chickpeas are available.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't see a lot of soy on the menu, but I'm not. I honestly, I'm not vegan, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I do know that when I've showed the main dining room menus, a lot of people who are vegan have commented that they thought that they'd go nuts with those, with so few options. But I will say also, especially if you know you're going to be eating in the main dining room, they have the menus posted ahead of time. So if there's not something you want on there and you do want something specific, you can request that the day before and they will have it ready for you. And again, they do that for people with food sensitivities and allergies. And so, and anytime you're in the main dining room, if they haven't seen you there before, if that specific wait staff has not seen you before, the first thing out of their mouths will be,
Are there any food allergies?
yeah, or sensitivities
yeah.
or special requests.
Yeah. They will do that.
Yeah.
It's part of their routine.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
And I haven't heard anyone on the ship complaining about what the options are. So, and maybe it's just because I'm not hanging out with those folks enough, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who, we might know a vegetarian or two, but I don't think we know any people who are eating vegan.
I haven't heard anybody mention it.
Yeah,
So.
I haven't either. Okay, so, you're welcome, Legs. Okay, so we've got some things we need to start doing. We need to start prioritizing exercise time, making healthy, and really the healthy. We don't really eat that unhealthy in either dining room. It's the desserts. We need to stop with the desserts.
Yeah. They make it too easy.
They do make it
whole
too easy.
island, and it's got all this stuff on it that's looks good.
You're right. I do think Oksana, who joined, she just joined in LA, and Brandy was going to invite her to our last content creator thing and forgot. So I will make sure we are going to make sure the next time we do a meetup that I don't have her contact information. Otherwise, I'd invite her directly. But make sure somebody who knows her can invite her to the next one. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, I do think she is vegan.
Yeah, Kathy, you talk about ordering just a dish of vegetables, which is good. Yeah.
So I will say that. So Katie says that on past cruises, when she wanted to eat light, she's asked for a dish of veggies and that are already cooked and being served with other menu options. So we did during the last sailing when we were eating with Bill and Lindy. Lindy often asked for special.
She did.
So she wasn't a total vegetarian, but there for
She was
most meals
focusing on
her preference was for just vegetables, and they always did that for her.
Yeah.
And she didn't have to do that ahead of time. She did that again because they were already making these things for other dishes or in other parts of the ship.
Jen, the willpower, it gets tough. You know, you can walk by it so many times, but
And I was really good in the beginning.
I was too, but
And not so much anymore.
One day they came along, and on one of it's the one where they always put the burgers and fries and hot dogs or all that stuff.
Oh,
They had these little sticky buns. Oh my God, they're deadly.
yeah.
Fortunately, they don't do them all the time.
Yeah.
Every time I walk by that station, I look for them. I'm hooked. That's all I can say. They're awesome. And we even got one of our good friends who is very active and athletic. He's hooked on them now too. So
Let's see. Are there any new foods, fruits, or dishes that you've discovered on this cruise so far?
Not really.
They've had some weird fruits, but they also don't tell us what they are.
Yeah, on
There
the
was a
ship,
melon.
not so much, but yeah, there was. But when we go into excursions into the different countries that we've been in, there's different stuff there.
Breadfruit. So
breadfruit.
I knew what breadfruit was. I may have eaten it before, but I don't think so. But when we did the cooking lab in Morea, we made breadfruit 4 or 5 different ways.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool.
Breadfruit chips.
Yep.
Katie, yes. If you eat 3,000 calories at dinner or late night, then you go to sleep. It has nowhere to go but to stay. You can move main meal to lunch.
You need to read that out loud so people can.
Okay, yeah, it says if you can move your main meal to lunch time and eat around, and there again, kind of done in our eating habits.
Izzy and Gretchen says that they had baked Alaska on the Celebrity Silhouette last year, and they thought it was fish, but it's dessert. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did try that. It was my understanding is like in a normal restaurant, it's like on fire or something when they bring it to you, like, because they light the meringue on fire or something like that. So I was expecting fire when they brought it to our table that once, and they didn't do that.
It's a cruise ship. They don't like fire.
Right. So fires are bad on cruise ships.
I mean, one of our friends had a birthday the other day, and they brought a cake out,
Yep.
lit the candle, he blew it out, he snatched it away real quick. So they don't like that. No open flames.
No open flames.
No open flames.
That was fun though.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, Katie, light. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, baked Alaska is flambéed normally. Yeah.
Yeah. Autocorrect. It's not your friend. We understand. I turned autocorrect off. I'm going to misspell something. I'm going to misspell it myself, and I don't want a completely different word out there.
Right. So, does anybody have any other questions?
Yeah.
About the itinerary change? About what we're planning on for the new locations, or the ones we already went to, or food, or anything? Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know, just
Okay.
enjoyable, loving the cruise.
We were having so much fun.
Even though I have a tendency every now and then to get seasick. If I let it catch up, and I don't stay ahead of it, it will hit me. And it's obviously mainly on the long cruising trips, the days at sea.
We got a couple of questions. So, do we get discounts on excursions? Only when they're in general on sale. So, like we booked all the excursions way ahead of time last year, and then Black Friday they had sales, so I canceled all those and rebooked for the ones that had better
sales.
pricing.
Yeah.
And what are we planning to do when we finish the cruise? Move. We're actually kind of not sure yet. What are your favorite desserts? Probably that red velvet cake. And anything with chocolate and peanut butter in it is my favorite. Yeah, that's an automatic.
For me, it's baked goods. So, Kathy, do you take something for season? I do actually. Got several different things. Got the patch on. It does fantastic. But one of our doctor friends said to be careful with. Don't use it too much at one time, one stretch, because there are side effects when you try to come off of it. So that's one thing. But we got ginger chews, we got ginger candy. I do have Dramamine, but that's one I've had for a while, and I think it might be a little old. But I also have one of my meds that was prescribed by the doctor that one of the secondary uses for it is seasickness. So that kind of helps.
So are we thinking of doing an independent journey for Africa? No, not at this time. So we're waiting to kind of hear what the safari options are. So if we have to do those through independent journey, we might. It kind of depends on where it's going to start and stop and what we would be missing, what the trade-off is, if we're going to be missing something else that we find more important. But in general, no, we're not doing independent journeys. And Mrs. Mack says, saw a couple T&J travel. They're on Princess World Cruise. Just did a review on the Mauritius port. So thank you for letting us know that.
Thank you. And over on YouTube we have Games. Hey, Games is back. Good to see you. He says, have you been able to experience any ocean phenomena such as sea of glass or sailing through an algae bloom at night? Have not seen an algae bloom. If it was like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. when everyone's asleep. But the glass, we have seen very, very smooth water. It still had some of the swells in it, but at one
but
point
no peaks at all.
it was very, very shimmering.
I did get some video of it, so I will share that in an
Yeah,
upcoming
yeah,
post. So
yeah,
I may have to tag you in it when I post that.
yeah. That would be neat to see.
So let's see, scope patch. Yeah,
Scopolamine, yes,
patch.
yes, that's the patch. And yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. That's um, what the patch is, and like I said, it's done a fantastic for me because I grew up with motion sickness, and like I said before, my mom was overly ecstatic when she found Dramamine, and I think over the years we
two,
should have
two,
bought
twofold, right? Because
yeah,
it also
yeah,
knocked you out.
yeah, we'd go on trips, and that she'd had to give me a couple of those, and I was done for the trip, so
Right.
she was happy.
Which isn't exactly ideal for
Don't want to be
when you're
completely out.
right. So Dramamine is, I mean, it's fine for once in a while, but if you who nobody wants to sleep through all
Ooh.
of the stuff we're doing. So
Katie, thank you. PNC Wandering on Facebook just went to Cape Town and did Penguin Town.
oh, okay,
Peggy just posted pictures. Thank you
awesome.
very
Thank
much,
you.
Katie. Thank you, thank you.
PNC.
That's one of the things. Once we heard about that, we're definitely looking forward to it. I took my advice on the. Oh yeah, the train. You mentioned the train the other day to us. Thank you.
And train. Okay, got it. Thank you, Katie, very much. Lenny Love says,
Yes,
thanks for your live.
yeah.
Have to go.
Yep. We'll see you later.
Bye.
We'll still be doing this.
Right. So
Not this one, but others.
right. So for people who have just joined, because I see a new folks, what's your YouTube name? My YouTube name is the same as it's Frugal Vagabond, same as here. So if you type in at Frugal Vagabond into the search engine, you'll find me. I have an avatar as opposed to a picture of my face. So, but the avatar looks just like me. So we're talking about the 9-month world cruise. We're talking about itinerary changes, and we are talking about the very likelihood the very likelihood of starting a book club, starting with going over this book Outlive and about some of the amazing information and advice on healthy living longevity. I will say that the subtitle to this is The Science and Art of Longevity. So a couple of the other, I went through the Centurion Decathlon and the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. But one of the other things is, oh, I lost my train of thought. I'm getting old. Medicine, the concept of medicine 2.0 versus 3.0. So one of the things he talks about in the book is, say, in medieval times, consider that medicine 1.0. There were some strange things they did that worked and some that didn't. Now we're in his opinion, we are in medicine 2.0, where we spend a lot of time reacting to things that go wrong. Yeah. So if you get diabetes, then you treat diabetes. If you have heart disease, then you treat heart disease. And there's not a lot of money or time or research really spent on preventing. And so one of the things he shows you is how to be an advocate for yourself, to make sure that the correct tests are being done, and breaking down what your results of those tests mean. If you've had genetic testing done and you know you have a predisposition, or even without genetic testing, if every male in your family has died from a heart attack before the age of 60, you know that you probably have a really good chance of doing that yourself, unless you take preventative measures and get a, yes, exactly. Jimmy's mentioning that quite a few blue zones. Right. So you can create your own blue zone. If you've seen the Netflix special, they've talked about, there's a couple of locations where they've
in the U.S.
Where we've tried to make cities more walkable, make it easier to get together with other people to exercise and do the things that contribute to making those other locations blue zones.
Michael, yes. The question is, any word on RCL sailing the Dubai to Cape Town or Cape Town to Venice segments? Nothing on RCL website yet. Okay. It's all still brand new, is what they're adjusting.
Yeah. So, Michael, I'm gonna read this again, and then I'll get back to the blue zones and the health stuff. So here's the official word that we got on February 27th. Who can book the new Africa immersive itinerary that is replacing Serenade of the Seas May 9th to June 7th, 2024 sailings? And then I'm just going to read this part. We are prioritizing all guests that were originally booked on the impacted Serenade of the Seas May 9 to June 7, 2024 sailings. If there is still availability after securing staterooms for our current guests, we will offer our Ultimate World Cruisers the opportunity to book their family and friends. That's the end of that sentence. The last sentence in this says, should you be interested in booking this experience with us, please contact our call center and they will share more details on availability and how to book. So I'm reading that as the people directly affected get priority. Second priority is family and friends of Ultimate World Cruisers. And third, if there is still availability, it will be open to book by people that don't fit in either of those categories. Katie, we are starting to learn the interaction of our gut microorganisms and various disease processes. Yes. So in addition to maybe buying the book and doing the book club with us, I also recommend signing up for his podcast. Yeah, Michael, I'm sorry that the call center has no idea. I find that a lot. If you've ever worked with a travel agent before, I highly recommend going through one of them because they get paid to be tenacious for you and call until they get an answer.
Yeah.
That's what I've had to do.
Yeah, and there again, with it being so new, they're not going to have that out to the public just yet.
I mean, we found when we were trying to organize things for this cruise, they have a specific email address, the World Cruise phone number and the World Cruise email address. And half the time when we contacted through either of those methods of communication, whoever we ended up communicating with did not know what we were even asking about either. So it's not, that's not unusual.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, back to the health and wellness stuff. Yeah, being an advocate for yourself, having, knowing what you know about your family history is super important, because if you have a genetic predisposition to something, you need to do more than somebody who doesn't. So that's kind of where we're at with that. So at this point, we've gone for about an hour, and it looks like we're running
57.5 minutes.
Yep,
on YouTube.
We're running a little low on questions, so I'm guessing, and I know it's getting late. So sorry, New Beginnings, you just joined. We're getting ready to shut down here.
It will be posted though.
Yes, we will. Easier to find on YouTube, by the way, because YouTube automatically does it. I actually have to go through and cut this into 15-minute segments and then upload it to get it back on TikTok.
Thank you, Katie.
So either location, but I can guarantee you it will be up on YouTube faster if you want to watch it there. Yeah. So thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you.
I hope to see you all when I figure out how I'm going to do the book club. I'll let you guys all know in a video post on both platforms. And thanks everyone for joining us today.
Yes.
And I hope to see you again next week.
Thank you very much.
The Thursday is absolutely, well, we're crossing the date line tomorrow, so it's either going to be Wednesday or Thursday. But I will pick a day. It won't always be at the same time because port days and excursions take precedence for all of that stuff. But I will try to do one the same day of the week, at least every week. So thanks, guys.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Till next week.
Tell all your friends and neighbors.
Bye.
Bye.